Welcome back to the HGC. We are watching as Dignitas takes on Granit Gaming. Dignitas so far up 2-0. Pretty expected result so far, as we expect them to get a nice solid 3-0 over them. But Granit Gaming, in game number 2, played a solid macro game. Granted, there was no major fights that happened, but they held on for a solid duration of the game before falling victim to one drag coming in and really taking Wolfdeal out.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened. And that's how it went down. The fact of the matter is that the dream of Poik being undefeated this season and singing a song continues to be alive, and that's the most important thing about the HGC.
Exactly, that's really what we're here for, week after week, to really find out if Poik will have his live performance. And I'm sure they're getting pretty nervous right now. Yeah. But I heard he's practicing, so that's already a good thing. But yeah,
wait for it.
Dignitas, again, they're proving that they're an absolutely fascinating team. They are just absolutely insane. This lineup that formed after the big changes in 2017, at the end of 2017, is continuing to impress here in Europe. And they are just not letting up. They always keep the pressure up. They have their eyes on BlizzCon. They want to go up against Genji, and they want to take them down this time. They, of course, all remember how the last time that they played on the international stage at a mid-season brawl, how that grand final went, and this time they want to be victorious. And we have seen already a lot of banter between the two teams. So that's what they have their eyes on, and they're currently showcasing it every single weekend here at HGC Europe, just using that to show the dominance and show how strong they are as a team and that they are not letting up.
Well, we're about to go into Towers of Doom. We'll see if Granit Gaming can pull something out to surprise Dignitas, as we need to do every time that we come to this battleground when it comes to Granit Gaming. We got to remind you all that they are willing to play different strategies. We did have the triple stealth once. Now, of course, that was before the roster swaps. But again, Granit Gaming, they are a team that have their thoughts behind drafts. They are willing to surprise their opponent. Hey, you know, this is a scrim in their eyes. Maybe this is the time to try and pull one of those cheeky drafts out.
It's definitely something where you can experiment a few more things. This continuous ban on Maiev is also interesting to me, because they are always banning Maiev from a first ban position. So that means that either they don't really want to play Maiev themselves, or they just feel that Maiev is not strong enough to have her as a first pick, but they are more so worried about Dignitas than picking them in the first rotation. So since we only seen them from the second pick position in this game, can't really talk too much about that, just given this one series, but they're mirroring the bans again from the previous games, with the exception of game 1 where they banned Garrosh on position 2 instead of Hammer, but they learned their lesson very quickly.
Not one to play into the Hammer. Although on this battleground, if Hammer is unable to take a bell tower, she has a little bit more of a difficult time controlling the flow of the map. The rotations are a little bit more all over the place.
If Hammer doesn't take the bell tower?
If the bell tower isn't taken, you have options. But once you lose the bell tower, it feels like it's game over. So
yeah, Hammer usually gets that bell tower eventually. Yeah. Like, if you have a good setup for her, I very rarely ever seen Hammer not get that bell tower at some point. The question is, can you offset it somewhere else?
Yeah.
But on this map in particular, I would not want to play against the Sergeant Hammer.
Well, it seems like Granit Gaming is going to agree with you. Spanned out, Dehaka taken away, but that does leave Urel up once again for Team Dignitas.
Yeah. The global. So that might be mirrored later. Urel taken, Deckard Cain. So again, Urel for Wooby, obviously. Deckard Cain as a super early pick. That's one of the main reasons why we have seen him with the dominant position that he has in the support meta, oftentimes as even a first pick. But on Towers of Doom, the global is prioritized over him. So two insanely powerful picks here for Team Dignitas. Urel for Wooby for the top lane, and Deckard Cain.
It's always so weird, because I look at the draft and I'm like, how does Wooby always get Urel? How does he always get Dehaka? But it's like, how do you even come into a series against Team Dignitas and try to beat them in the draft, right? Like, there's no answers, it feels like. They always have a way to stop you, because they have so many all-stars available to them.
I mean, you just simply... It's a bit of a weird question to ask, but like, in the end, the question comes down to, first of all, you need to be able to mirror the hero pool to a large part.
Yeah.
And then it comes to execution in the game itself. So I would love to see teams like Team Liquid clash against Dignitas, as we're going to see on Sunday. That's going to be an interesting one. Method coming in. So that's the games that I'm personally looking forward to, because I would expect those to be at least a lot more competitive. And with the drafting changes that we have come in, Liquid looked very clean in the 2 series that they played. Granted, that was against mid or bottom tier games in the HGC standings, but it's still something where you can see, okay, there's a solid game plan coming together.
Yeah.
And that could be something where Dignitas is maybe pushed a little bit more.
Murden and Li Ming out for Team Dignitas. Li Ming going to be shown out by Poik, but Murden gives you the ability to be aggressive on this battleground. I like Murden a lot in this battleground, that in Dragonshire. How much you can dictate the ability to jump into a Saber camp.
I mean, to be honest, there's very few battlegrounds where Murden is not a great pick.
2-man Spider Queen when no one is soaking, it is horrible to play Murden.
Again, there's very few battlegrounds where Murden is not a great pick.
Yeah.
2 on the Spider Queen being 1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you want to have your wave clear. But outside of that,
yeah,
there's very little where you can where you see a dwarf and you're like,
I don't know
not
about
sure
that.
if that was really a good pick here. I mean, very rarely ever heard that.
You draft him. Are you sure we want to kill him? I mean,
Are you sure you want a Murden? Like,
yeah, we can play passive.
the only thing he likes is wave clear.
Yeah. Please, if you have Murden on your team, wave clear the map for him. And there's a Nazebo.
Oh, don't get me started with that. Like, the most annoying part as a Murden player is if you play a Hero League game and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you realize that your team, while not engaged in a team fight or an objective fight, all of a sudden everyone refuses to soak a certain lane. And you're like, well, either I go down now or we lose that wave, and all of a sudden you're Murden, you're stuck on a lane, and you're playing a solo lane, and you're hitting with your stupid pickaxe, hammer, whatever that is, and you're trying to like, I can take a minion down. And then all of a sudden I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, those are my 2 favorite moments in Hero League recently. I was playing Murden, and it's like, hey, bottom lane needs to be soaked. They go, well, you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, but all right. And then the second one was, okay, we need to play macro from here. And someone responded, well, go to Team League if you don't play macro. And I'm like, no.
I had a thing on Battlefield where a Shaman camp was pushing into our keep.
Yeah.
And we had like 3 wave clear heroes, like insane AoE damage. Nobody wanted to take care of that thing. And I'm like, guys, like, okay, Murden is trying to wave clear now a Shaman camp plus a wave. That's not gonna take long at all.
You don't even have Thunderburn now because you have to hit heroes. Like,
Crazy.
Well, enough about us and our amazing experiences. Let's go over straight to game number 3 between Team Dignitas and Granit Gaming. Here on the left side, Poik playing Li Ming, Snitch on Zebo, Wubby on Urel, Zelia on Decker Kane, and JPL playing Murden.
The dwarf. I love Murden. To the right side of the map, 0-2 in the series. Memecraft for Granit Gaming is playing Hanzo Darkmorg on that side lane. Dehaka Wolfjoe on the support role with Malfurion today. And Raid Boss coming back to that Zeratul, whereas Nanda is playing Garrosh in this game.
Nanda on Garrosh, looking to find some combos.
The one thing that I'm really asking myself is if Granit Gaming isn't a little bit too heavy on these Zeratul plays. Recently, it was very telegraphed on the hero. And I don't mind Zeratul in the slightest. It just feels like for them, it's such a massive go-to right now.
Yeah, on one side, I agree with you.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind the pick at all. Like, it's just like the high quantity of Zeratul games that we get out of them is the one thing that confuses me a little bit.
I do like the element. Oh, hang on here. As a bit of flank comes in, Raid Boss going straight in for Zelia. Zelia's getting low on health. He's going to have it'll hit the scroll. Raid Boss coming in with the Vorpal Blade. Memecraft chasing forward. Poik trying to block the shots. Zelia continuing to kite back, and with the heals, they are able to survive that attempt.
Great move again, but Snitch is maybe a bit too far out, and yep, down goes Nazebo. So a great escape at the beginning, and then the attempt to turn that around backfires against Dignitas. They were already safe, but they wanted a bit more, and they don't get it. As Granit Gaming simply turns around and says like, okay, we didn't get the first kill there. I was a little bit sad about that. But ooh, there's a juicy Nazebo right next to it. Let's take that guy.
Always take a juicy Nazebo. As we have Granit Gaming turning over, grabbing the sappers. Thanks to that kill, gonna have the bottom lane pushing in. What I was gonna say about Zeratul is like what I really enjoy about him as a pick for Granit Gaming is it has forced him to clean up the early game when it comes to macro, because of how much that hero needs to get to late game.
It's just for me personally, you know, it's in my mind, it's oftentimes the pick that comes a little bit out of left field, where you have on the last on your last pick. Or a later pick at least, after the 3rd ban, you have a chance to just like spice up the draft all of a sudden. You get more aggression out of it, and you have an opportunity to really create some kill moments against the opponent. But now they are using Zeratul so much that they are actually worried of letting Zeratul past the 2nd ban phase because, or towards the ban phase, because they're afraid that it gets banned out on the 2nd spot against them. And that is what creates a little bit of a weird dynamic for me in the draft.
Granit Gaming comes down to the bottom as they start to fight against Team Dignitas, trying to get these sappers in. Can they get them in? They get two to connect, and that puts the turret down.
They already have a slight lead in experience. I mean, that early kill against Nazebo gave them a bit more pressure. There's still a camp up now, so they could try and invade that. But yeah, I mean, the early game so far went really well thanks to that kill. So that's all you can ask for. And that the Haka gave them a lot of late game potential. And towards the late game, you already talked about Zeratul power spikes. I mean, the 16, when we have his cleave build really coming online, is insanely strong. But let's see how much Granit Gaming can get out of the objective. Nice body blocks there, putting a bit of extra damage against JPL. Free damage, always good, just as the altar spawn.
One ult from top right being grabbed by Dahaka. Granit Gaming does sniff out that Dignitas is trying to take these sappers. That means nobody's in that bottom altar. JPL walks down Zeratul in the top right corner. Raid Boss trades out some damage, but now talking about that altar on the bottom. Now Furion's already made his way straight down here. As he gets the channel, Granit Gaming will actually go up here.
Yep, double altar for them. I mean, we talk about late game, but let's not forget that Snitch is currently on Nazebo, so that's another hero that, of course, scales exceptionally well into level 20 with his Violent Infection, currently sitting at 32 stacks on his quest. But here comes another kill, potentially. Zelia getting attacked, heals himself up, but a great zombie wall from Snitch keeps Memecraft in a spot where he just cannot deliver on the final few blows against the Deckard Kane.
Something more subtle too is Snitch walked up and stood next to Kane. He was actually out of danger, but made sure that he got that cooldown reduction as well as the armor popped up. So Zelia could escape. A small thing Snitch did there that helped Deckard Kane get away. Granted, the wall was great too. Dignitas now working on level 7. The stacks, and just in terms of talking about them, 38-40 now for Nazebo on his Voodoo Ritual, and then 50 on his Spiders.
And Dignitas heavily locked into a 4-man, and Urel is still soaking 2 lanes and has been doing that for quite some time. Here comes again the play against JPL. Granit Gaming with that Garrosh setup, actually doing really well here. Trying to create opportunities, but now Garrosh himself in trouble and goes down as Poik moves in with the Calamity, secures that kill, takes him down. Garrosh eliminated, and the first kill in the game for Team Dignitas.
Interesting here too is he's gone into Charge Blast on level 4, Li Ming. Typically you see that on maps like BOE as you're trying to get that single target DPS damage in. You usually see Dominance picked up if you're trying to sustain through a team fight, because the moment you pop it, you're able to get those kills coming in. But Team Dignitas having that switch up on level 4, looks like Poik's trying to find damage for Garrosh. And speaking about Poik, he gets picked up by Zeratul as Team Dignitas attempts to take the sappers and they get punished.
Raid Boss wants a bit more than that. Zelia is there, Stormbolt misses. Ah, close call there. Raid Boss with really good pressure against JPL, and JPL, if not for Deckard Kane, would have fallen for sure. Stormbolt missing was a huge problem, but Zeratul is not able to get the kill, but they at least get the bottom altar, and now they are fighting for the one in the middle. Granit Gaming looking strong in the earlier stages of the game.
Yeah, and a lead here, 36-28. Looking to extend that lead with 4 more shots. There they are, so now 36-24.
Dignitas clearly playing now for the late stage when they can use Nazebo. Also, Divine Steed taken on level 7 for Urel, because Urel is so far forced into the rotation between the top and the mid lane, whereas for Granit Gaming, it's not only the Haka who takes the job, but it's also Zeratul rotating into the mid lane quite frequently to take a wave down, and therefore making it a bit more difficult for Weebu to keep up. That
too of the escapes. You see Raid Boss coming in here for a gank in the middle, as well as Nande. Once you jump away with the Avenging Wrath and you instantly mount, Urel typically gets away from a lot of those fights. So going to be able to bounce between those lanes.
Nanda on Garrosh, by the way, as you can see, trying to work on his quest. Warbreaker is now on 9 stacks. We have 12 stacks for the Stormbolt on Muradin. And the level 1 Spider quest for Nazebo is done. 67 on the Violent Infection for him, and the earlier level 10 for Dignitas.
The discussion we always have when it comes to Nazebo is what do you pick up at level 10?
I mean, with the setup and the stuns that we have here, I would say this is a Gary game. Ravenous Spirit is amazing and I absolutely love it, but if you stand still, and he goes for it, he goes for Ravenous. I like it, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult against a Hanzo Arrow, against a Zeratul, a Dehaka that can tunnel in from behind, and against Garrosh. I like Ravenous. I'm a huge fan of it. I actually prefer it over Gary, but I could have totally seen the argument in favor of the Gargantuan in this game.
Oh, here's Ravenous Spirit. The good news for it is over the wall, you can drop it during an altar phase and try to keep your opponent from forcing the issue, which allows for you to get a channel, and if they try to interrupt it, they'll take some damage. Team Dignitas setting up for that 1-for-1 trade that you typically have on this altar, but Nande goes in and finds a target. It's going to pull him in. JPL drops the Avatar to sustain through.
Yeah, it's going to end up in a 1-for-1 trade after all, but that was definitely a bit of an explosive skirmish here in the middle. Especially, of course, with Nazeebo still down at the bot lane. But we have that trade, and that puts Dignitas down to 20 points on the core. 32 for Granit Gaming. And we are already on level 11. I mean, Dignitas, you can play a slow game, you can play for the late game, but at some point you have to face the music, and they are already down to half their points on the core.
That'll hurt during the 3 altar phase, especially with Granit Gaming having the double or the global available and Zeratul being able to force the fights, and Zeratul in 5 more levels able to hit 16, which will allow for them to win said team fights. I don't know, Team Dignitas, they're hurting here a little bit. See if Granit Gaming can keep up with momentum. Looking over to the stacks for Nazeebo, that late game factor we keep talking about, he's sitting at a total of 86. So needing a hefty amount there. A little bit behind typically, that's because he can't double soak as well as he would like.
Pressure plays again attempted here on the side of Granit, getting the mercenaries in to drop another turret. I mean, Dig still at slightly inexperience, and they are playing really well around their own setup here. Just trying to find the potential Stormbolt into the zombie wall, the damage that we have from Li Ming. Poik already getting that 1 kill earlier, but always a threat with that Calamity in particular. But here's again that setup from Nande, not going for taunt yet. Nande low, and there's the kill. And immediately as the Ravenous Spirit pops out, we're having Zeratul going for that Void Prison in the back. That's exactly what I talked about earlier. That's one of the reasons why I could have really seen him go into the Gargantuan instead. You have a Void Prison against you. Even if Zeratul doesn't use the Void Prison, you stand still and allow him to attack you. You stand still, a perfect target for Garrosh, if he can walk up to you, even with a taunt. But then, of course, there's always the big ones to consider. Zeratul burrowing in behind you, getting the isolation in, Hanzo Arrow. A lot of tools to exploit a Nazeebo that is locked into place.
Well, with that being said, 13 connects for Team Dignitas, and there is 1 altar. Trying to grab the Singapore for all 5, rotate in. Wolfjo will use Tranquility. Wubby goes in for the knockback, pulls Wolfjo in. Nazeebo wall locks Wubby into the top right corner on accident. Whoops, bit of a mistake there from Snitch, but Zelia begins its channel. At the same time, Dignitas steps up, and there's going to be the Lord NATO with the Ardent Defender. Yeah,
good play by him. Now that drag comes through. Darkmog in the last fight, by the way, straight up saved Wolfjo. Wubby jumped in and tried to push him in as Poik secures another kill against Zeratul. But yeah, Wubby was actually like in a perfect spot to push Malfurion, who was a bit too far out, straight back into the team of Dignitas. And the only reason why he couldn't do it was that Darkmore came in, connected a drag with a tongue, and then just simply dragged him outside of the reach. If that wasn't the case, then Malfurion would have died there too. But even as is, Dignitas walks away with 2 kills and now have so much momentum that they can easily focus on the bottom side of the map. But Granit Gaming with a pretty clever response here at the top lane.
Yep, Scatter. Oh, wait a minute. Scatter build. Still, Hanzo able to help clear this up. As Granit Gaming is able to grab this boss. Team Dignitas was pushing in, posturing for a bottom lane push in, but with Nande showing up on Garrosh, they actually back up, and Wubby's too late to scout this, and he does not have an Ardent Defender. Can he escape? Raid Boss comes in with a Purple Blade and help gets the kill.
That was actually pretty cool. Granit Gaming had an immediate call after they lost Zeros and said, okay guys, they're going to push through the bot lane, just go top and take the boss. And then at some point Dignitas realized, wait a second guys, they should be here by now. And that's the moment when they realize what's happening. But there's the first kill, there's the second, as Snitch dies again. 5th time in the series that he goes down. Dehaka moving in, Zelia also low, and that's a triple kill for Granit Gaming.
Yeah, they're looking for another one too. Tossing JPL, but he's full on health and still has that Avatar, so they're going to back up. But now they can look towards grabbing their bell tower back from the bottom right, get Sappers, open that up, and this all comes at an important moment too. The 3 altar phase.
Now, we're going to see Dignitas back on the map as the altars activate, so that should still be fine for them. But it shows that Granit Gaming is... I mean, I like the game plan. They have a couple of really cool thoughts here where they make a quick rotation towards the boss instead of trying to defend the bottom bell tower. They really capitalize on the situation, even though it starts with them losing 2 heroes. And then they are able, after the UL kill, to force another engage in a 4 versus 5. So Granit Gaming with the really cool moves here, and they're still ahead in the objective. Gonna see the exchange, top left, top right. It's all about that middle bell tower that really matters right now, because Dignitas can really not afford to lose too many points here anymore. They're already down to 12.
Yeah, they're starting to run out of time. Nande is the focus here. Scroll comes out, but Darkmok from the back comes in with the burrow. Nande already falls, but a big Dragon Arrow comes in for Granit Gaming. Wolfjo trying to escape though, but JPL has a Stormbolt. He lands it, and here comes Zalia following up with a scroll.
Yeah, that was not really the best play and the best showing of Wolfjo here. He actually tried to save Garrosh and pop Tranquility. The problem is that they kind of miscommunicated a little bit on where the escape path was, so he walked into the brush and couldn't reach Garrosh with the Tranquility, so he walked back up, but then Garrosh gets pushed back. Garrosh never really received any heals from Tranquility, so that ult was popped, had no value whatsoever. Garrosh dies, and then Malfurion is too far out because he was trying to get in range of Garrosh and gets taken apart too. So that's a double kill for Dignitas. Great one for them. They get the altar, and it's again bot lane control that they accomplish through it.
Now we're getting to a spot where this game suddenly becomes much more difficult for Granit Gaming, and they're thinking about forcing a fight here before this bell tower pops up. They have Raid Boss and Darkmok on the back left. Pharrell's rotating down. They're waiting for Wolfjo. Drag connects. Will hit on top of Snitch, but he still has that ice block.
Yeah, Snitch also in the position where with the level 16 talent, he's also looking at another great tool with Soul Harvest that he can use in these situations. So that definitely helps out. But the 16 talent also brings us the cleave build on Zeratul that we've been highlighting a bit earlier. So Granit Gaming has now a chance to try and use that as their advantage.
Yeah, you see Dignitas, as soon as they see Zeratul, they spread out, fan out in different directions, make sure that VP doesn't come in, but also they don't get those resets on those queues. And now it's all about babysitting this bottom bell tower. Let Urel control the map. Soak between the middle and the top lane, has a Divine Steed. Granit Gaming may try to go find Wubby and pick him off. In fact, if you see in the minimap, they have 5 rotating up here, but Wubby, he's used to this. He backs up, and we'll just Hearthstone.
It's interesting. The rotation of Granit Gaming towards the top lane is... I mean, I like it. Wubby knows what's coming, but the Granit says there's nothing else to do on the map right now. We can't reclaim the bot lane. This isn't happening. We don't have the tools. So let's try and trap someone at the top. You know, it doesn't work against Wubby, but against someone else it might work out. If you get a kill there, you're perfectly set up for the next altar. There was nothing that they missed because they made their rotation. So I really like the thought process behind it. They leave the Haka up top. And now it's all about just setting yourself up for the bot lane. And already trying to look for Wubby here. Nande gets actually denied.
Stormbolt connects on top of Wolfjo, but Dahaka keeps pushing in this top lane. We'll see if Granit Gaming is even going to attempt to fight this. They may just trying to buy time for this bell tower. Here comes Darkmok, comes in, finds the drag, hits it straight on top of Poik, who will teleport away.
JPL is really low and gets locked down again, pops the avatar here, but the taunt comes through and they're going for Mirrodin and the dwarf is down. He's eliminated. Nanda a bit far out, needs to be careful, but here comes the Tranquility, and this time he's in range. Ravenous Spear as the setup, and immediately Snitch becomes the target of Zeratul.
Yeah, immediate turnaround there from Granit Gaming, and still have 5 strong. Wolfjo keeping everyone nice and healed up. Dignitas needs to consider maybe backing up from this fight. Scroll will come out to try and delay. Slash put some damage on Raid Boss, and it will delay, but it seems like Granit Gaming has pushed away Dignitas, and they continue to keep the lead. 20 to a total of 9 shots on the core.
I find it interesting that Granit Gaming channeled the altar immediately instead of going for their own bell tower first. That's one additional that you could have gotten. I would argue that if you feel confident, you could have made a play for both of the bell towers.
Could see that.
But at least one. So them not going for either one and going for the channel right away either means that they misjudged the situation, or it means that they just have, after the game on Cursed Toll in particular, so much respect for Dignitas setup that they're saying with Nazeebo and Li Ming, we are really worried that even in this setup they can somehow get a kill against us and that we lose out on it completely, so let's rather channel it through right away.
And then suddenly it's one reset, you know, Li Ming coming forward.
Yeah.
You can definitely see.
But I personally would have actually liked them to at least get one bell tower and try and get that extra shot in. Dignitas is at 9, they're still on single digits, so they're still far behind here. In experience, the two teams might be even, but when you look to core damage, that's where the real difference comes in.
Also, at the same time, Nazeebo is not close to finishing his stacks to be close to level 20, sitting at a total of 150. He'll need another 26 here, which will be a few waves. Dignitas finds a Dahaka in the top lane, puts some damage on him, but Darkmok is not in a position to get picked off.
Yeah, Dig trying to make the play around the boss, bait that a little bit, hope for Granit Gaming to walk into that trap and lose one of the players. You can really tell that Dignitas, with all the confidence that they usually have, is currently looking at this and is saying, isn't really working out quite the way we were planning this to do. Let's try and set a few traps here and hope that they're making a mistake that we can exploit. It's not them trying to make plays anymore in that sense, it's them hoping for the opponent to screw something up.
Look at the bottom here. Zeratul was pushing the lane in, but didn't commit fully towards that bell tower. 4 shots being channeled by Wolfjo. Drag comes out and hits Murden. JPL can't do too much about this. Another Dragon Arrow as well. Raid Boss goes in and gets the first cleave.
None
does some damage, but Garrosh does get picked off. Zebo with the ice block.
They're trying to take him down, and he's actually also isolated here. Raid Boss goes in, goes for Snitch. Snitch is down, and that's a trade-in kills. Raid Boss himself, though, very low, and falls to Zebo's damage over time. So 2-for-1 trade in Dignitas' favor. But the altars were evenly exchanged, and that puts Dignitas now down to 5 points.
Trying to grab this boss here and trying to get 4 more shots, put that down to 12. Granite Gaming has 3. They can't really do too much about this. Instead, they run to the bottom lane, or at least should be heading down there to get some damage on top of that bell tower. Dahaka's going to go over and check it out and see if they are doing the boss.
So here's one of the reasons why I actually would have really liked the Granite Gaming earlier to get the bell tower before they grabbed the altar. If Dignitas had 4 points on the core instead of 5, it would be a 1 altar game. Now it's a 2 altar game. So that makes it a little bit... gives Dignitas a little bit more breathing room. They don't have to fight over every single one of them. They will want to, but they could let one go if need be. And Granite Gaming just gave them that.
Sappers grab 2. 20 here for Zebo. Not quite the full quest finish off.
Dig can lose this. Definitely.
Yeah.
This is a single altar. You know, if we only had 4 points on Dignitas' core, this would be potentially game right here. A boss play, this altar, whatever it is, but this is still going to culminate in a team fight. And if that team fight is won by Granite Gaming, just look at the bottom left. That bell tower is so low, all you have to do is you destroy the bell tower, you channel through, and then you still end the game right there. So Granite Gaming has a chance of pushing this into game number 4.
Dignitas sets up for defense, trying to hold this lone altar by itself. Channel begins. And the rest of Granite Gaming steps up. Nande goes in for a combo. Here's Dahaka too.
Dahaka comes in. That's the stun against Whoopi. All right, 5 versus 5 at the bot lane now. Stage is set.
Look at him on the side. He's trying to put some damage out. Oof, being a little bit careful though. Nande wants to find a combo on anyone here.
Yeah, once again, channel attempts here by Whoopi continuously, but the interrupts by Memecraft. Stormbolt misses from JPL.
Watching Zebo too, trying to shell out those spiders, trying to finish off that quest. 8 more stacks and he'll have it done.
And he doesn't have them yet, and that's the chance for Granite Gaming to fight before that Violent Faction comes in play.
Whoopi holding that altar. Constant orbs coming out from Poik, looking for Memecraft.
Trying to go for it, interrupt the entire time, but Granite Gaming starting to gain a little bit more space here. Zebo is getting close to completing it, 173, he only needs 2 more. Granite Gaming, they can make that play now.
But there are waves pushing in. Zeratul in the middle and the top has us pushing in. We'll put some damage on the bell towers. Won't threaten the fort actually following, but Dignitas, they have time here to get those 2 more stacks.
Zeratul already in the back here. Whoopi sees him, tries and go for it, and Zeratul blinking out as we have the drag against Muradin, who has to pop Avatar.
Oh, but they're having a spirit, and there's no one to disrupt it. Nande being locked down, taking damage on the front line. Poik going in for the magic missiles. Can he hit it? Poik actually gets locked down, and he takes a combo, but he's able to get out.
Muradin jumping in, and the Stormbolt, but immediately the garage safe as Memecraft is still in play here. Everybody's starting to fall low as Snitch completes the quest.
Vial Infection ready, and this is where the damage is going to be dished out by Snitch. Spiders connecting, frogs as well, going to be flailing out.
Once more, the setup here. Granite Gaming trying the channel. Whoopi nearly fully healed up, and that's really the moment where Snitch can start to shine. If he connects with just the corpse spiders, that alone is already going to chunk people down. And Wolfjoy starting to run out of mana.
The real story here, there's potions constantly rejuvenating there from Zelia. Zelia trying to stay alive here on the back left, getting the heals in. Whoopi giving him armor as well if he needs to jump in. JPL goes in for another Stormbolt, and here's Darkmog. Can he let a drag? He hits it!
Wolfjoy has no mana left.
Boy.
They need to get out of this soon. There's the Void Prison. Tranquility again. Darkmog alive. And they get the kill against Li Ming. Granite Gaming might just have done it. Down goes Deckard Cain. The double kill. And Tranquility still coming through. Nande is alive. And JBL falls. This has to be it. Go for the bell tower and start the channel. Granite Gaming about to take a map of Team Dignitas.
Whoopi and Snitch trying to hold his bottom left so they don't lose out on the bell tower. Thrown in is Dahaka, looking for that drag. Whoopi able to sidestep, he gets silenced, but he falls to the poison, and there goes Snitch too. Granite Gaming wipes all 5, turns around, looks at the bell tower, and Darkmog will start the channel.
Is this real life?
This is real life, Kaldor, as Granite Gaming are going to serve another loss to Team Dignitas. Fnac has gotten a couple in the phase of HGC, but Granite Gaming able to earn one themselves. And they'll be in this series still, with it being a 2-1 in favor of Dignitas, but Granite Gaming clings for life.
Great play by them. Well done here. Dignitas just giving up too much in that early game. And we've been talking a lot about how those kills against Zebo in particular affected his quest. And yeah, it was well played here by Granit. A lot of good interrupts. And again, I'm also coming back to that Ravenous Spirit. Very few opportunities for Snitch to get honest value out of that ability, simply because he made himself the focus of the enemy's aggression immediately when he rooted himself into play with it. A lot of good plays there. And could have even been a little bit clear from Granit at times, but that was definitely well done.
Granit Gaming getting a big victory on top of Dignitas. Nazebo not paying off in full there. Even with you going into level 20 and not having those stacks fully finished up, really showed how much Snitch was struggling to be able to rotate. Typically on a lot of battlegrounds, if you can have double lane soaks, Chuma Spider Queen, etc., being able to rotate between lanes, you can finish that quickly. But he was locked in that bottom lane for a majority of the game, forcing Urel to double soak. You could see why he couldn't finish that quest.
And also, if you consider that we had a few moments in this game that were really not optimal from the perspective of Granit Gaming, this is even more impressive. We talked about some of the moves that we saw from Malfurion, where Wolfjo was just in a really awkward spot, trying to help out his teammates, and then just not getting value, popping a cooldown unnecessarily because of it, and finding himself in a bad spot. It's just one of these things where just one thing is on top of another, and you're just like, okay, this was an awful fight. Like, let's just forget about that immediately. Had a couple of really cool moves towards the last fight in particular, though, where he really came through. But I also want to highlight Darkmog. He had so many plays where he just came in, connected with a perfect tongue. And it's not only to create kill opportunities, he saved a lot of his teammates just by negating the threat for just those few seconds that were needed to help someone move out. Especially that one scenario where Wooby was trying to go for Wolfjo, for Malfurion, trying to push him into the team. That comes to mind when he comes in from the flank, hits the drag, pushes Urel away and says like, nope, you're not going to take down my support.